you.
Thank you.
Okay, we are live on 5D All Day with Spirit Calling, and I'm Danielle Kane, and I'm so excited to be here. And I have two of my good friends that I invited as guests today. I have Ace and Lavender Wolf. Yes, they are engaged, right?
Yep.
Very excited for you guys. Can't wait. We can chat about that too. And I know there's to be other people from Spirit Calling joining on. Some people said they'd be a little late, but it might just be this nice little private conversation as well as anyone in the chat. So, yay. How y'all doing?
Doing wonderful.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
been an interesting month.
Interesting year. Oh my goodness, 2023, man, has been
Right?
like such a great year as long as you don't look outside yourself at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So
Right, right. I know it's a lot. It's been a lot. You guys have been through a bunch of stuff. I mean, your story in itself is quite fascinating, and I'm just grateful that you have each other because when things get tough, it's nice to have a person to be there to support you and hold you up when you need it. So,
1000%.
Definitely.
And I think that's kind of what the last couple of years has been, not just for Lavender and myself, but for everyone. It's just
mhm,
been the universe and source, God, whatever you consider to be the all, is just putting us through these trials and tribulations, not to show us what we're made of so much, but so that we could finally let go of all these illusions about this lack of who we are, of like what we're not capable of. And, I mean, it's a beautiful thing if you could take the higher perspective, which is not always possible. A lot of times we need to just feel how we're feeling, be in the stuff, we get lost in the sauce, we fall back asleep. I mean, all these things happen, but they're always there as I would call reference points or
mhm.
juxtapositions to see how far we've come so we can take inventory and see that, we aren't those people we were 3 years ago. We weren't even these people we were a month ago. And as long as we're continuing to do our best to take those strides to become better versions of ourselves, then there's nothing that can happen that won't be for our benefit.
Right.
And that's kind of where we're at this time is like we lost, we got pregnant this summer and then we lost a baby and it messed us up for a couple months and it challenged her faith and it rocked us at our core. And at the end it was like we can choose to stop believing because of a loss. We can choose to hang up our spirit shoes, so to speak, and then go just back into the matrix and just be a normal human. But when we took a step back and looked at everything that it brought us closer together, brought us truths about ourselves and our fears. It showed us that, we weren't ready for the baby then, but we do definitely want to bring life into this world together. And so it's just taken a lot of anxiety that we had about forming a family, starting a family when we really didn't have a place to live. And, Spirit was having us on this crazy journey. And from there, we've blossomed because we surrendered and decided to allow God, universe, source, whatever, to show us the way and know that by taking one thing on the other side, something even more beautiful and great will come because it
Mhm.
just wasn't for us at that time.
Yeah.
That's what we need to be focusing on right now is our perspective because that's
Yes.
the only free will we have.
Well, that's exactly what we're going to be talking today. I'm really curious as to what you think about this reality is. I talked a lot. I don't know if you guys watched any of these live conversations. Starting to get them, I think, more available and new things are coming with Spirit Calling. So it's exciting. When Pamela pops on, maybe she can share a little bit about what she might have plans for this. But I first of all want to honor you both because I actually invited Ace to come on because he had interest in having being on one of these conversations. And I said, well, we're not really bringing outside people. And I'm like, but you know what? I'd love to have guests. So that's why I invited you. And what I feel so grateful about having both you guys here is because you guys are this twin flame journey. So I think it was really beautiful that you honored to have Heather on. And I want to make sure Lavender, sorry,
Okay.
felt comfortable. That was your previous name, so I'm so used to calling you that. I apologize.
That's okay.
It's
But
names like what we realized with the whole name thing again. What is our reality, right? That's the
yeah,
question of the show. I mean,
yeah,
what's a name? You know, my friend gave me a good perspective because I was ready to change my name completely, like fully, like in the real world, completely change it. You know, I call this my pen name, Ace Wolf. It's my spirit name. You know, I have a brand with my real name's Adam T. Cummings. I was working with veterans before I started my healing journey and this and stuff. I have a whole thing established through that. And what I realized is that who I am as Adam T. Cummings isn't who I am as Ace Wolf. You know, Adam T. Cummings kind of represents that human journey. You know, he's the broken veteran who walked a path of healing and learned about himself and was able to find love. You know, and who's Ace Wolf? Ace Wolf is this hippie. You know, it's this other side of me, this other version of myself that I pushed down for so long because I thought he was wrong and I thought there was no place for him in this society. And in reality, he's this beautiful part of me. He's feminine, he's creative, he's expressive, you know, and as Heather, now Lavender, has gone on this journey with me as well, she's discovered that she is a completely different person, you know, than who she used to be. Though Heather, her name being Heather, you know, that is who she is in the human form. She is more than just this human form. And so when we take these pen names, as we call them, it's demonstrating to me this transformation that I've made, this transformation that she's making, where we're no longer just these 3D humans anymore. We really are stepping into our spiritual prowess, becoming those lions, no longer meek, and standing in that spiritual essence. And sometimes old brands and old names can have baggage on them that doesn't allow us to expand in the ways that we truly desire. And so, you know, sometimes we need to recreate ourselves, but that doesn't mean we need to throw away who we used to be. We need to cherish and honor those versions of ourselves and hang on to all the positive benefits we gained from being them. But to evolve in this life means to die and be reborn many times. And sometimes we need to take a new name to do it. So, you know, with reality, you know, what do you think, Heather? Like, what do you think this reality is now that you've been on this crazy journey with me in the last 3 years?
It is definitely not what they taught us, for sure. Man, the synchronicities I've had, it hurts my brain sometimes, and I literally feel like I'm going crazy, but I'm not. I just see things for what they really are. And my go-to is it's a video game, and the little synchronicities are help from our players, our higher selves, to show us how to win the game down here.
Yeah. I was saying too last time.
I love that.
Yeah, go ahead, Pamela. Yeah, please welcome yourself. This is the founder of Spirit Calling.
Oh. Hi guys.
Hi, Pamela.
I can't see what you look like, but I can see that you're beautiful because I'm feeling your heart, and I'm so happy that you're here today to join Danielle and our community with these conversations. And I just wanted to say hi. But I also wanted to say I love what you just said. It's amazing to have that illustration of the video game. And I feel like Danielle had mentioned something like that too before that I really resonated with. And it's true. It's like the added players helping us along the path, right? On our game of physical life, right?
Yes, definitely. And also too, I feel like we have little like packets along the way. Like you might find, like, you know, when you hit the box, out comes a little mushroom and I come bigger. You know,
It's like,
it really, like, when you
you
think
get
back,
the next out.
yeah, when you think about like the Mario game, I'm like kind of like, wow, there's a lot of thought put into that game, and it really started to resonate with me on this theory that we are, you know, we are a matrix, we are a simulation of some sort, and they actually are finding the binary code within this reality. This guy James Gates, a physicist from MIT, has discovered that. So I think more and more people are kind of understanding that we're in something that we're quite not sure what it is, but that's the closest kind of connection that we can make.
Well, we download into these bodies every night, every morning when we wake up, or whenever we wake up. You know what I mean? Like, scientists can't explain to us dream states, but if you just sit with them and you really ponder on what dreams are and you really reflect on your dreams, there's different reasons for dreams. But again, like, they haven't told us anything, but I have this theory that they're not allowed to tell us anything, because that is the whole sovereignty, free will, law of the universe type stuff. Like, we chose to come down in here. We chose to break off a part of our soul to spark the energy necessary to operate these vessels. And in reality, the only game we're playing is the one in our vessels, where they have inverted our reality and have us externalized, looking outward to everything for truth and reality. And but the truth is that you only have responsibility for one thing, and that is your vessel. Your vessel is actually kind of independent of you. The goal is to become fused with your vessel, becoming one with yourself. Your vessel has different consciousness within it that you need to learn, but you're not allowed to talk to yourself. You're not allowed to answer yourself, or you're crazy. You see what I'm saying? We don't ever have time to learn what this whole experience is about, because we're so afraid of what other people think, because we're told we're wrong. You know, schizophrenic. What's a schizophrenic? It's somebody who's multidimensional, somebody who's able to tap into other fields and be able to experience in between dimensions, right? Oh, but they hear voices, so they're crazy. So let's put them on this medication and throw them in a straitjacket, right? And so it's like, what I've realized is those people with addictions, those people, alcoholics, drug addicts, the people in mental health facilities, they're the closest ones to a spiritual awakening. They're the closest ones to God. And the reason that they're doing that self-destructive behavior is because they're not expressing their creative essence in the way that's needed, and they're decaying because they never were taught. And so we're all being led astray. But in reality, the only thing that's real is what we're experiencing in real time. Like, that's why I say, like, what matters, right? You know, it doesn't matter. How does it not matter? Like, what does it mean to matter? It means to materialize in our physical reality. It means to be here in the physical, that we can interact and experience for ourselves. That's mattering. That's not saying that something that doesn't matter isn't important, but because it's not happening in our real time now moments, it's not something we need to put our energy into. And what is our biggest issue in our society? Depression and anxiety. What is that? What is that from? Anxiety is because we're thinking about the future and we're not doing something we need to do for ourselves. And depression is we're not stopping and resting. Depression, our language tells us everything. Depression, deep rest. Either get depressed or you deep rest. You choose. But because we look for a pill and we look for a 7-minute ab, or we look for some Band-Aid to put on all of our issues, instead of going within, as we keep hearing this moniker, go within, go within. What are we doing when we go within? We're just acknowledging all of the gaps that are inside of us that we're afraid to look at. And the only reason that our world is the way it is right now is because fear is running it. And that's in the truther community, that's in the spiritual community. It's a very fringe amount of people talking about love and light and expansion, and the way that spirit calling does, the way that you've been doing, Danielle. You know, a lot of people are still in that fear and in that.
It's funny that you say that, because believe it or not, I actually kind of got censored on a spirituality group because of the name of this podcast. Someone censored me. I'm not kidding you. They're
5D
like, they're trying to debunk 5D. And I explained why I named it 5D. Actually, Ace and I talked about having conversations, and I said, I look at this, and it's a play on words. If you don't like semantics, then I'm sorry. But I mean, I look at this as I'm bringing my level of consciousness from a pinhole, right? Looking at from just this level to an overview, a higher vibration. You know, we all know that there's first dimensional, second dimensional, third dimensional objects, right? So it doesn't seem far-fetched to believe that there is a fifth dimension out there. So
it's like how can we talk about the 3D and then we talk about things that we can't see? So that's the 4D, but there's no 5D. There's nothing else. There's no expansion past that. Nope. There's nothing. There's nothing but limitation in this universe. Nothing but limitations and blocks. You know what I'm saying? It's why does that person feel so compelled to debunk something?
I don't know. Pamela, did you want to say something?
It's right there. It's showing ego. It's showing the need to prove that their reality. Go ahead, Pamela.
I just wanted to know what was their reason for that, Danielle?
You know, so I had, like I said, this was on Telegram. I just post all my stuff because I want to spread the light. You know, I don't know if you're on Telegram, Pamela, but there's a lot of, that's how I met Ace. I honestly expanded myself through our connection. I'm really, really grateful for you because I probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Ace. So you get to meet the guy who pushed me forward in my journey, and I'm so thankful. But anyway, I joined this conversation because this individual does the same hypnosis practice that I do, this newer practice that actually removes entities. So we believe in entities, right? Which we know exists in the fourth dimension.
Right.
But so
It's
we
crazy.
believe in all the darkness, but we don't necessarily believe they don't believe we ascend. They don't believe in fifth dimension. They think that that's not how, that's like all false. That it's just
Well, they don't understand how universal laws work. They don't understand how everything is created. They really don't have a full understanding of frequency and vibration and dimensions and beings. Like they don't understand it. Just put a cap on that.
And it's okay. Hey, and it's okay. I think a lot of people in the spiritual community, like you said, I think they get to a point and then they start to see things that maybe they don't resonate with. And then unfortunately, rather than not resonating with and continuing the journey, there's this level of like, no, it's almost like a boundary. Hey, listen, when I had my spiritual awakening, it was like, I ripped down all the walls and everything because I was just so curious to be like, I feel like I don't know all the information and I might not ever understand it all, but I would never just say, nope, that's it. It's absolute. That's absolute, you know?
Well, you just said, you hit the nail on the head, is they don't believe in if they don't believe, which is being and living, right? Believe. If they don't believe in the fifth dimension, then they're not ready for that content. And so it really is falling on deaf ears. And so we do got, go ahead.
Well, and two, think of it this way is where you are in your journey and your path is not going to be where those people are going to be. And so actually that's helping you not step on people's sovereignty.
Right. That's true.
It's removing you from stepping on people's sovereignty.
And people can only receive what they're ready to hear. And it seems like that group is a good stepping stone into the fifth dimension, but it keeps all of this extra stuff that could get really confusing and overwhelming out of the picture and allows people to stay in that heart space. Right now, it seems like, all right, so they're basically a 4D, group, right?
Probably.
And so that means they're focused on healing the heart, and that's fine. They're not ready to move into here. They're not really ready to expand into that. And what I realized is that the human really cannot go further than the 5D in terms of being able to comprehend and digest all of the concepts. Like you really got to move into that expansive higher self lens. And so why I love talking about the 5D is because for a long time, and this is before I understood the fifth dimensions and all this, I started in 2017 working with veterans, trying to get a better understanding of PTSD and reduce the amount of people killing themselves in my community. I had a best friend kill himself. I had a lot of other friends kill themselves, and it was just getting to be a lot. And so God took me on this journey to try to figure this out, realized I had it. And so the whole thing was all about reducing inflammation in the body and just not being so manic and angry and all this. And I wanted to better understand how to bridge gaps, right? Between transitioning and transforming, between being stagnant and actually healing, right? And then I move into the spiritual realm in 2020. I start making spiritual content. I start talking about, again, energy, frequency, vibration. I start talking about the Holy Trinity from a more grounded, higher spiritual human lens. I try to bridge the gap of understanding, right? So for the longest time, I've been coming up with these different concepts and stuff. So my first part is called Being Human, and it's the path through the desert of your soul to find the oasis in yourself, right? And then, so you walk through the desert and you get through that, and then you end up at the forest, right? And you end up at a forest and you walk through the forest and you got to fight bears and lions. You got to crawl on the rocks. You got to go swimming. You got to go, all this stuff to get through the forest. You can't see the forest from the trees. I use that term a lot. Can't see the forest from the trees, but you have faith and you just keep going. And all of a sudden, then you come out of this clearing and then there's just this abyss and there's a bridge, but the bridge is only half built.
Yeah.
And so you walk up, you regain your energy and you walk up to this bridge, right? This is the bridge to the 5D. But there's nothing across the way. It's just an abyss. It's just air. So what do? You got to take a leap of faith, right? And you got to take a leap of faith into the abyss, and you don't know what's on the other side, and you don't know if you're going to even survive it. But God is telling you, source is telling you, trust me, trust yourself, take the leap, right? Well, we've taken that leap into the 5D, but what we didn't realize, because we were blind, because we haven't been in that reality in so long, that it isn't across the way. It's upside down. It's reverted. So basically, when we're walking in the 5D compared to the 3D, right? So here's a 3D human walking. The 5D is like this.
So
It's not across the bridge. It's not across the way. It's upside down. And I remember a couple of times I'd be in meditation, and it would feel like my spirit was seeing through my eyes, but was like floating upside down from me. And so I had my physical body anchored onto the ground, and then I had my spirit almost like upside down floating above me. And what I've realized over the last couple of weeks, when I've kind of understood this concept better, is that when we jump into the abyss, we're literally jumping into a portal, and it's portaling us up right side up again. We just walked through the 3D, which is an inverted reality. Where
Can I
everything.
say something about that?
Go ahead.
Well, two things. So Brian and I, you know, a lot of you guys who've watched this may not know my husband's name, Brian, and we're all on this kind of journey together. But he watches some content, and he was also talking about like Antarctica or whatever, the ocean. The ocean, actually, we're in the ocean, like flipped. And then the other reality, whatever that is that we jumped into, is on the other side. Like we're actually in the ocean on the other side. And I did a hypnosis session where basically the individual was the creator of the water portal of making mankind.
Well, Elon
So
Musk,
crazy.
you know, they have us looking up to space, which may or may not be real. We don't know. No one's ever gone to the moon. That's bullshit. I'm pretty sure we're domed. You know, they sent rockets out of the space, and they hit a dome. But here's the thing: is Elon Musk has two companies actually, beyond beyond Twitter.
Okay.
Elon Musk has SpaceX, which is all talking about Mars and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Has us all focused up there. He has another company called Boring Company.
Boring.
Boring, like I'm bored, like
Okay.
the Boring Company,
Yeah.
and it's all about underwater exploration.
Ah, interesting. Mm-hmm.
And they say that the way to you portal to different worlds isn't through space,
It's through
but you go through the oceans. And because Earth is just one little map game board on a giant planet sphere of just many that we can actually travel. That's why we're not allowed to fly over Antarctica. That's why Antarctica is be controlled by militaries. That's it. I'm telling you, man, like for me, this stuff sounds crazy, right?
But when you go down this path, you have to be open-minded, because there's a reason why we haven't. There's a reason why the flight patterns are a certain way. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And the thing is like all the stuff they've told us never made sense to us. We only started to accept it after they vaccinated us out of the wazoo, fed us poisons, fluorided our water, food coloring into our food, so that we would be so drugged up and freaking sick that we can't even notice that they're lying to us.
yeah.
Like if you, all Source had to do was send a little extra sunlight onto the planet, and all of their plans went to shit.
Yeah.
And so we go back to the question, what is reality? What if everything has been designed for us?
Right.
What if this entire melodrama of humanity that we're playing in, all of this evil and all of this darkness and these entities and the devil and Satan and Nazis and all this shit that's gone down that's so horrible, what if it was always meant to push us to choosing ourselves at this time so that we could finally ascend in consciousness as a human species? Because we're meant to do something more than just eat, sleep, bang, die, and slave away. Like literally, that's what they have us doing right down here. But we're multidimensional powerhouses. There are beings from all around the universe coming and downloading into these bodies. These bodies is what levels the playing field.
Yeah.
Before the Great Deluge, there was demigods, there was Amalekites, there was vampires, there was 13-foot giants, there were the Watchers, there were the Nephilim, there were all this.
They're saying that actually in like some texts that dragons were the dinosaurs.
Yeah, dragons were real, dude.
Right.
Dragons and
But
dragons
that's
were
what
good.
they are changing the names, dinosaurs and dragons. Heather, I'm curious as to what you think about all this. What do you think reality is based on what, you know, has been discussed so far? And you said a video game, but like,
Yeah,
do you think we're
from
meant to like ultimately, did we plan this? Do we plan to go through all these evils? Was this something that we've been stuck in a karmic wheel? What do you think?
yes, yes, absolutely. We're here to grow our soul and have lessons that we learn to then go forward and expand into the universe, and karma is a real thing. And it's not, I always say trauma is our karma. The things we've been put through is because we did that to someone else in a past life, and we have to learn and see that perspective. It's
Mhm.
not really a punishment, really, I mean, it sucks, sometimes it's rough, but I may get some fire for that. But that's truly what it is, our karma is our trauma.
Yeah. Pamela, you want to say something?
Well, I'm enjoying these conversations. This is pretty awesome. I agree with most of what I'm hearing. And I watched a show last night, and I can't remember the name of it, on Netflix. And it was basically, maybe you guys have seen it advertised. It's basically like a world that was created inside of a dome.
Mm.
And the outside is supposed to be scary and dangerous, and no one's ever allowed to go out there. And everyone inside is living in an organized, community, collective of beings, with a government and a structure and oaths and all the things, and law enforcement, and they're keeping people from procreating, and it's like being monitored because of the population, right? So you're watching this and you're thinking it's exactly what our world is. Our world has been created for us. Our world of what we believe in, everything we've been indoctrinated since we were born, and our parents before us and before them and before them.
Mhm.
And the origination of the species on our planet, and how we were created and why we were created, and what we were created for, you'll understand why the ways are on the world today, the way that they're established. And it is to keep us dumbed down. It is to keep the slave race, controlled. And it is also for us and our souls to evolve and learn love. It's complex. It's multidimensional. It's karma's a part of it. It's so many different things. There's so many storylines associated with our experience, and it's not just here. It's everywhere simultaneously. I mean, that's a whole other thing. Like, there's so many, right, Danielle? There's so
Yes.
many conversations to be had with what is this reality.
Very convoluted.
To go back to the naming. Yeah, to go back to the naming thing. I was in a car last evening driving with my 18-year-old, and we were talking about her reality right now, and me trying to relate to my reality and her reality, and having empathy and understanding for where she is and her physical experience. And we actually got to the place of how we named her. And what is a name? What is a name? It's a name that I chose to give at a time when I was not even understanding what it was that I was giving this developing human in my body that was going to be birthed and have their own experience. And how she has, created a name from that name that is what resonates with her at this time of her life. Like, it's fascinating, right?
Yeah.
It's so interesting to me. And her individual experience right now, and all the challenges that she's going through to understand herself, to be self-empowered, to understand love for herself, love for others, empathy for herself, empathy for others, just to have this physical experience that we're here to experience.
Yeah.
I agree.
Right?
So nice.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And that just
It's
tied
great.
in so nicely from like the beginning of this conversation with Ace and Lavender. I love it. Love it. Love it.
Something big I've been recognizing is trust. How much trust is not, I'm not leveraging trust enough in my life. And though I have a lot of love, I find myself in going down and, find myself in the normal human throes of reality. And it's because I don't trust enough. And I had a download the other day where it was like, I understand love. The world has enough love, actually. They keep saying we need more love, we need more love. No, we have plenty of love. We don't have enough trust. And when we don't have trust, there could be all the love in the world, but as soon as there's no trust, that love gets sucked back and it becomes conditional again. So how do we unconditionally love in this reality that is inverted, that is hell-bent on destroying us, is we love ourselves. That's why this reality is inverted and hell-bent on destroying us. Everything is pushing God's children which are just God. We are all God. Everything's God. This mic is God. This door is God. Everything's God. It's all the electrons in the universe, whatever you want to think of it. But we are all thoughts. We are all frequency bands or even sound waves, because in reality, light doesn't exist. Nothing exists but sound waves, apparently.
Right.
And so it's like we are just a manifestation of sound waves that are being created, and we don't exactly know what this realm is. They say that it's 99.99999% space, that physical reality is an illusion because of atomic science and things like that. So what is it really? What are we down here doing? What is the point? The point is to love, to create. But in reality, I think what we're doing now is we're moving past just that, loving, creating, and all. We're learning to be sovereigns because we're regaining our wings, so to speak. We're regaining our ability to access university and then the all. And what I've come to realize is that with great power comes great responsibility. And as our DNA unlocks, that 97% junk DNA that scientists say we have, yeah, well, that's being unlocked right now.
Mhm.
All the carbon is
Yeah.
being radiated out of our cells, which is what your ascension symptoms are and your transmutation pains are. And what comes from that is old memories, old lives, old traumas that you let go of, which reveals the crystalline nature of your DNA, which allows for our abilities to increase. Our ability we can use our brain capacity more. We'll be able to levitate, telepathically communicate, teleport, and be honest, to be able to handle the new energies coming onto the planet, because the sun's not going to slow down anytime soon. Fifth dimension is a vibration. It's a
brought up
frequency.
something just with what you said,
Go
and I
ahead.
want to ask your opinion. And this is
I'm
Dina,
just
by the way.
going. Danielle, you jump in whenever.
I know this is Ace Ace can talk, and he is great at like totally portraying wonderful topics. That's why I love him, because he's so good at it. But welcome, Dina.
Hi, sorry I'm late.
It's okay. I have my friends Ace and Lavender here today that I joined to the call, and Pamela's driving. So
Hi,
thanks for
Ace. Hi,
jumping in.
Lavender. Lovely to meet you.
To meet
Nice to
you.
meet you.
I wanted to ask you about just what you said. So if we all are energy, right? If we're all this vibration, and we haven't quite accepted the trust, right, to elevate us to this higher vibration, do you feel like there might be something, like we're all right now at some, like there's spectrums, right? And we're all kind of vibrating down here. And if we all kind of shift and we can like lock into a higher vibration, do you think that there's something maybe assisting with keeping it low, like from somewhere? Or
Yeah.
are we gonna rise above
Everything.
eventually?
So we were actually just been talking about this week. This is a controlled awakening. The powers that be know it's going to happen,
Yeah.
but they're going to control how and when it happens. And that's exactly what's going on, as you see, in the political realm, right? But it's in a controlled awakening. It really is.
And
it's perfect because each person is going to awaken right when they need to awaken. And their soulmates, their twin flames come in when they're ready, when it's time, and awaken them, help them grow, help them heal.
all right, think about this. Pamela has an 18-year-old daughter, so she knows what it's like to raise a teenager. Try to get a teenager to do anything. Try to tell them to do anything. They're not going to do it at all. That you got to show them, you got to lead the way, you got to sometimes kind of manipulate them if it's really something they need to be doing, But we have a 14-year-old, and learning to work with her to get her to do what's good for her, it's a thing, We're the same. It's literally, again, it's been spoken. Everything's there for us. It's all have truths for us to discern and decipher what is ours from what isn't. And again, it's all about sovereignty. And so it's like, how do we own our experience? Well, we got to own our thoughts. Well, what are thoughts? Are they our thoughts?
Right.
We don't even know that, so we're shooting in the dark here, and then judging ourselves so negatively about how we react and what we do and how we mess up and the mistakes we make. But at the end of the day, again, we've been poisoned, manipulated, shrouded in darkness, because we are the best players in the universe. We are the most advanced players in the universe that have sacrificed parts of themselves to play in this crazy awesome game. Limiting game, but what it's doing for us is it's making us unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is outside this form, we are the all. We are perfect. We are everything. It's great. It's all. But that's not the point. The point is to learn how to be limited, so that we're no longer limited. The point is to be finite so that we realize that we have infinitude. We need to work together because we don't need to do everything on our own. We need to ask something outside ourselves that is still us for help because we don't know how to do that in corporeal form.
We wouldn't
Everything
need to at that level because we know all, we can connect at that oneness, that one
Yes.
level.
But guess what? We've been doing it that way for so long that it's getting boring. The universe, God, every being wants an expansion pack. We're talking about video game, right? So we played Genesis 1.0. So the first video game's done. Now we got a new expansion pack coming out, which means that the old game is going to be played for a little bit longer by those stragglers who don't really necessarily want to jump on a new expansion pack, pay that $70 that they don't have, do the whole thing and deal with all the bugs, right? But there's people like us that are like, heck yeah, I want to get an expansion pack. Like, let me on that thing. Let me in a new world. I want to play the new game and the new costumes and the new things, right? And so there's early adopters, there's late adopters. But eventually everyone is going to go to this expansion pack. Like this game will end, this server will end, and there will no longer be able to connect to it. So eventually you either got to stop playing the game completely and go do something else, or you got to choose to upgrade. And we don't go anywhere without one another. Like this whole idea about I'm ascending and you're not ascending, that's the most ego-based, like that is as 3D as you could get and from spiritual ego as you could possibly think about. We are all one. We are all one. We are all individual frequency bands of the same fractal source.
Right.
And therefore, if one person doesn't ascend, then none of us ascends. If one person fails, none of us succeeds. We're all together in this.
Yeah.
And again, the thing is we've been manipulated for thousands and thousands of years that we need something to push up against. We need resistance. We need mommy and daddy to punish us and yell at us and tell us that, we're like, no, I can do this and get that gumption.
Yeah.
Because again,
you need something to push you forward.
Because what do we like to do in human? We like to eat, bang, sleep, and fight each other. Literally, drama, or what, that's it. That's what being human generally in the lower chakras is all about.
Yeah.
So how do you get people to entice them to go through the pain of being human, to go through the pain of ascension, and to choose to face all the bad, ugly, scary shit that they avoided their whole lives? Well, something on the other side got to be even better, which the four of us can attest to. It is better, much better. And we're just scratching the surface.
Did you want to?
Hey, Ace, I was going to ask you, so do you think all of this tension we feel now is really coming to a head to kind of rebirth and reveal all of this stuff so that we can get through it?
I 100% believe that, because again, we can't move forward as a species if we don't know where we've been. So it's important that this disclosure happens, because the DNA needs to absorb all of these stories, just like the story of Christ, which they manipulated. His name wasn't Jesus. I mean, the Romans couldn't say Yeshua, so they named him Jesus. There's so many stories about Jesus that tell you that it's a story of Krishna. It's a Hindu story. Like it's been regurgitated 18 religions, but that doesn't negate the fact that that story is powerful. And it doesn't negate the fact that Yeshua ben Joseph of Mary too, he walked this planet. He was sacrificed and all that, but it was all manipulated. But yet they couldn't shake it from our DNA. Why? Because it was so impactful. It was so known by so many that it actually it embedded itself in our DNA. And every time we're reborn, it's a marker that we can actually get to and start to I just feel like there's something more. I feel like there's a higher purpose to this, And that's what I'm saying is every revolution we've been through as a people has gotten us that much closer to this revolution. Every time we've chosen ourselves and then gone back to sleep has gotten us to this point of being able to choose ourselves and not go back to sleep. And the only difference between this revolution and the ones in the past, I'm using words, is we have global communications now. So a revolution in Africa can be supported in New Hampshire, and a protest in New Hampshire can be supported by someone in Japan. And because they gave us the internet, why would they give us the internet? All of a sudden we're connected, and now we can start seeing the lies. Now we can start seeing the BS.
That's true.
And things like that. And so it's like, I don't believe that disclosure happened even. I don't believe that disclosure happened Sorry, we got a male person. But I don't believe disclosure started happening in 2016 or 2019. We believe disclosure started happening in 2000. Y2K was the beginning of disclosure. 9/11 was the beginning of disclosure. What happened after 9/11? Everything changed. They really brought down controls of the planet. And that's when everyone was like, this ain't working for me. So what do? Sports, entertainment, shifting the consciousness, and they threw us in 10 years of darkness, 15 years of darkness. Enough for us to be like, I don't like it. I don't want to live this life. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be in a plane of existence that I can't walk outside my door with the idea of me not getting hurt. And now people are starting to choose differently for themselves simply based off of the narratives they've been watching the last 20 years. And so in reality, all they had to do was show darkness and trust that humans were naturally good. Mm-hmm. We are naturally connected to source, naturally connected to our hearts, and that we would choose the right thing. Mm. But it wouldn't happen until someone stood up and became a trumpet. Mm. Who was the trumpet?
Trump.
And so
right out there for everyone to see.
Like who was the Antichrist? Obama. But even Obama was controlled. All right, I have this thing in
Trump's control.
Everyone's controlled. Everything's scripted. It's an entire movie.
Controlled awakening.
Well, it is true. I do believe these are all players. Like I'm starting to look at, if you don't mind me interrupting.
No, please jump in.
I'm starting to see people that are like, this person's good and that person's bad. Then I'm like, wait a minute. I'm seeing things like you're seeing a little bit of like, Elon, I still don't know what's going on there. Like the fact that like there's certain things that if they don't want you to do something, they won't allow it. But he's allowed somehow to do these things and yet expose Twitter. I don't know. I'm not quite sure where he is, but I do think that they're there for our awakening. Like it has to happen. They have to put these people out there to do maybe the bad thing and maybe the good thing, because that's the way that our video game is designed. Yeah. I don't know.
I think without the tension, without the conflict, without the tension, you can't push forward to the good.
Yeah.
So while it's hard to go through, it's necessary for, like you said, we're all inherently good.
Yeah.
And we're going to see the way. It's uncomfortable going through it.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. But it's like going to the gym. You got to go to the gym and work the muscle. You got to destroy the muscle. You're going to get sore. If you do too much, you may not be able to do anything for a long time. You know, it's all about learning your body and then being able to gain whatever goals you're trying to get through the experience you're having. But without that chaos, there is no growth. Mm-hmm. Without birth pains, there is no baby. Without a hurricane coming through, there's no cleaning the area out. Like we need these storms. We need storms in our lives. We need seasons in our lives. We need winter. Right now, man, I don't have, this is it, Danielle. Like I even told Heather, I was like, I don't know if I can even do this. Because at this time of year, I'm done for 6 weeks at a minimum. I'm done at 6 weeks.
Are you sure you're not a bear? Are you supposed to like hide in the
I'm just saying, like, it took me 30 years to believe this about myself. I thought I was, I'm just weak. I can't push through in the wintertime. I don't feel good. I have seasonal depression. No, dude, my body's from Scandinavia. It's winter 8 months out of the year where my body's from. I'm from New Jersey. So I get seasons in Pennsylvania. I got seasons for 20 years.
Siblings in another life.
Like how I'm supposed to just go down to Florida and just because it's not seasonally changes, all of a sudden my circadian rhythm is just gonna, I'm in Florida now. I don't need to go hibernate. I don't need to, go through the normal human throes of emotional growth and healing. And again, it's like we're so distracted with this he and she and this and that. Elon Musk is no longer Elon Musk. This is his name. They own the rights to his name. Elon Musk is a character. Ezra Cohen is a character. Kash Patel's a character. Michael Flynn's a character. And if you go on IMDb, you'll see that Michael Flynn's a director and Ezra Cohen's an actor. And all these people actually have in the IMDb, the International Movie Database, literally tells you you're the director, an actor,
actress,
really? MTG.
I'm writing this down. What is it called?
It's called International Movie Database, imdb.com. You can look up Trump.
Is Trump one?
Yeah, Trump's an actor. Trump's been on WWE with Vince McMahon. He went to school with Vince McMahon. Guess what Vince McMahon's middle name is? Kennedy. Remember that truther account called Vincent Kennedy? That's all about supporting Q and Trump. Well, it turns out that it probably is Vincent fucking McMahon, who owns the WWE. Get this.
See, this is what's so fun. Like
they're best friends. Vince McMahon, Vincent Kennedy McMahon and Donald Trump are best friends. Donald Trump has actually performed on WWE Raw a couple times.
I don't even
He's
know what that
wrestled.
is. Oh, he wrestled?
He's wrestled. He beat people up on the sidelines, like legit. Yes. 10 years ago, there was this wrestler called MC Punk,
CM Punk.
called CM Punk, right? He was the bad boy. He was the renegade. He was the guy that would tell the truth. He talked mad shit about Vince McMahon and caused all these issues. And eventually he just disappeared and nobody knew kind of where he went. They thought he just
Wow.
retired. Well, he probably got really big and they probably wanted to control him, like John Cena, like Batista, like
The Rock.
The Rock, who's now running for fucking president. By the way, The Rock went to my high school. Interesting story. That was a
did?
hard one. That was a hard one. Yeah, The Rock went to my high school for 2 years,
No.
Freedom High School in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Pretty crazy.
But that,
Anyway,
so that's really interesting though. I would
wait, but Daniel, let me finish this real quick. Just let me finish this point. So
Hey,
CM Punk
guys.
comes back. CM Punk, after 10 years, CM Punk
No.
comes back.
Pamela, did you have to say something?
Yeah, I have 10 more minutes with y'all.
Yes.
I'd love to get into another little topic.
Okay,
Yes.
let's go into something else. Dang, I want to tell the CM Punk.
Well, we'll chat about that offline.
Yeah.
Let's get some Pamela and some Dina time just because they both just jumped. Well, Dina just jumped on too.
Yeah, well, ask Dina about her opinion about that, the original question, the reality.
Yes, Dina, what do you think that this reality is all about?
I mean, I feel strongly that this reality is about learning, growing, expanding. You know, when I was younger, my mom used to always say, "You chose me." And I was born with a disability. And she used to say, "You chose this to learn."
Yeah.
So I believe we're all here to grow, expand, have new experiences that help us evolve as beings.
Yeah.
And I think there are certain things going on now that are hard, but I think we all chose to be here at this time to learn, to grow, to expand, to connect.
Yeah.
And to me, that's how I kind of view the world. So when something bad happens, it's hard. It doesn't negate that it's hard, but I'm always like, okay, this is happening for something else to happen. And it's usually very true. Very true.
I mean, and again, that's even what the false flags that they do are for. They're all here to get us to pay attention to something other than our own problems all the time. You know, everything I believe on our TVs now, I can't say all the way back in 2012. I can't say all the way back in 2000, you know, but my rolling theory is that everything we're watching on the television since January 6, 2020 was a movie, was a pantomime, and it was known.
But Dina, do you feel like we're watching a movie? Do you feel like you're in a movie to some level?
You know, I'm starting to feel like what we're experiencing, we've created. It's our simulation, but we've done it as a collective. And it feels very real to us. And it is real to us. But technically, you know, I keep going back to, oh my God, are we in the Truman Show? Like, is it like
Yes, I was saying it. Truman Show.
And I never used to think about that until maybe like two years ago. So some days I'm just like, you know what, this is happening, but this doesn't really matter. It's about the lesson I learned, the connection I make. How can I make a positive impact in the people's lives that I touch every day? That's my goal. Anyone that I encounter, I would like them to leave in a better space. That's my goal.
Love that. One of my goals too.
Pamela, do you feel like this is a movie? What do you think?
I think it's both. I do feel like it's a movie. I feel like that when I'm witnessing, you know, people that are in my life moving forward, not seeing the reality that I see. You know what I mean? And not even understanding. I was at a networking event the other night, and someone was talking about how the news just makes them feel overwhelmed and depressed and sad, but yet they can't stop watching it because they want to feel connected. And I try to explain to them that the news has a specific hertz and frequency that is meant to make you feel anxious, depressed, sad, overwhelmed, and they just couldn't grasp the reality of that. That's when I feel that I'm in a movie, right? Because I can see all the moving pieces around me, and I can see it as if I'm watching a movie, but yet I'm within it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And but then the other part of it is
Yeah.
that I know that it's actually my movie, as well as everyone's movie at the same time, and I am here to expand my soul and to expand my consciousness, and however and with whomever that interacts with and helps to assist in the evolution of their soul, then so be that as part of the collective expansion. So it's hard to explain, but I'm trying.
It's so
Right?
big. It's such a
It's
big
very
concept.
hard
Yeah.
to explain.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I heard, I think it was Bashar who was explaining it, and I thought it was really interesting. He said, just picture almost two realities, and there's a glass wall between you. And you're like, my world feels really good because this is happening over in that other window, and I'm not going over there. That's not me. I'm
Mhm.
staying over here. And then he said, eventually they may split. Like, and so I always look at that. I'm like, I may be observing something I do not like,
Yeah.
but it's not my place to judge,
Mm-hmm.
because only if I judge, that brings it to me. I can only observe and say, wow, that's happening. That's not what I choose, and focus on my reality. And that's what I try to do.
Yeah, and I think a good point with that too is I've been in that place, and I've realized when I've done that, and I'm like, stepping away, you learn to really not continue to keep judging yourself. Like ultimately that was like you giving you permission to let go of judgment.
Yeah,
Like that
it's easier
reflection
that
was
way.
your judgment. Yeah. I mean, I've
Yeah,
had
it's
that.
easier. It's like, okay, I'm observing. It's the observer mind versus the analytical mind,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
really trying to work through it. And it's hard. It's sometimes hard, but it brings me back and grounds me into, okay, what can I do to make this world better? And that's what I focus on.
I like it.
Yeah.
I also think that it also is teaching us a lot of patience, presence, because in order for you to get to where you were, Dina, you got to spend all that time, you know, deciphering what's yours and what isn't, what's a good thought from a bad thought, and, what's mine from what isn't. That's something I've been working a lot on, being that I had PTSD and just dealt with a lot of mental health issues. It's like, which thoughts are mine and which ones aren't, which ones are real and which ones aren't. And over the last 4 or 5 years, it's been a really discerning, deciphering that. And so in reality, our thoughts kind of create that reality. And I realized recently, as I've had the time to take inventory of my life from a more objective lens, I was in manic chaos for over 15 years, but I lived such a beautiful life at that time, but I didn't see it. All I saw was the decay. All I saw was the pain. All I saw was the suffering. Even though I had love, connection, relationships, success, I couldn't see it. I was stuck in this 3D concept. Woe is me. I'm in pain. I'm suffering because I wasn't building that relationship within myself. Sorry, one second. I forgot the people's names. Pamela was saying, like, we're here as an individual experience. This is our job. This is our uh objective, right? And the more we clear this vessel, the more we take care of it, the more we love ourselves, the more that we are compassionate, forgiving, non-judgmental, and do it, like, all of a sudden that experience, that 5D vibration is so easy to attain, so easy to maintain. And I guess that's kind of where I want to ask Danielle, because I love asking hosts questions and having them answer questions on their own show, is how have you been able to keep your 5D vibration over the last 3 years on your healing journey? Because I know you've been dealing with health issues, then you were dealing with functional stuff. And so,
Yeah. I've been able with what's going on. Yeah. You leaving? Pamela, did you want to say something?
No, I'm going to hang on for a little bit more. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. And then we'll start wrapping it up because it is the end of the hour. But what actually got me into this place of healing was finally, I'm going to say, going into the things that you couldn't brush under the rug anymore. I mean, I'm finding more and more people that the things that were not really great, or, we're just like, I'll deal with it later. I never even knew to deal with it, to be honest. I didn't know there were aspects of me that I just needed a little bit of guidance. And so I started working with like fully integrating into this vessel, like you said earlier, like literally looking at like the movie Avatar and becoming the avatar. And as soon as I started to embrace and love this physicalness of this reality, whatever that is, I started to heal and I started to address those things. And I started to work with my divine feminine energy that I had shut off for a while. And it took learning from others. And I think that's the greatest thing is that if things are shut off, we have wonderful tools and friends and characters in our lives that have helped us help ourselves. So honestly, like this platform, Spirit Calling, like the way that I met Pamela, I mean, it was divine. It was really amazing how we met. And then sharing space, and Ace and Heather, you guys are always so vulnerable. I appreciate you on because not many people can talk about these aspects of ourselves that are waiting to heal for us to then be of that higher vibration. So I have to thank a lot of people for my journey and just keep it going. You know, I really do think integrating into this realm rather than being more outside of myself has really helped my journey. If that makes sense to anybody.
No, it absolutely makes sense.
It
For me,
does. It's awesome. I want to say goodbye to you all, and
Okay.
Thank you so much for sharing space with us today. Thank you, Danielle, for that.
thank you,
Yeah.
Pamela. Thank you for starting
Thank
this
you, Pamela.
platform.
Thank you for this
You're
beautiful
welcome.
space as well.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate
I hope
you.
to see you on there.
Yeah,
Okay, I
I
appreciate you
definitely
guys
gonna look into
too.
it.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye guys.
Real quick, there's some things that it's kind of over everywhere because I get downloads and anyway.
Yeah.
This reality in our job is to clear our karma. As individual karma that we accumulate, ancestral karma, and then now what you said, the collective karma. So the collective karma is moving out of Pisces, which is being held down, being oppressed, darkness, and we're moving into the age of Aquarius, which is all about humanitarianism, technology, all that good stuff.
Truth.
So that's our job, is to clear our karma. And a lot of us that are right here right now have done a lot of that in this life, and we're working on our past life karmas, our ancestral karmas, and again, the collective karma, which is going to take a little bit.
And remember, we're already ascended beings. We're multidimensional powerhouses that have been there, done that. We're trillions of year olds, fractals of God. So this body is ascending. You are its caretaker. You are guiding the body through ascension because the body is anchoring in the light codes onto the planet for the rest of humanity to wake up to.
Yeah.
They're prime directives from source. So as you watch, sun cycle 25 and you watch the sun exploding and everything going crazy, just know that light that you can't even see, it looks like a freaking interrogation light. Just know that it's those light codes are coming into your body and unlocking your DNA. And if you're tired, be tired. If you need to lay down, lay down. If you need to rest, rest. If you need to hydrate, hydrate. This is the time to listen to yourself, not anything outside yourself. If it's fear, it's false. If it inspires, it's true. Discern, follow your heart, stay centered and aligned by listening to your body. What foods do you need to eat that day? Do you need to eat this food? Do you not need to eat that food? You are not as smart as the body. I'm telling you right now, with being through the veil, being in the veil and being in this traumatized reality that we've been in, you are not as smart as this body. This body is being guided by source to do what it's doing. It's your job to give it what it needs. And you do that by listening.
And like you said, like I was saying too, like you just put it all together, like actually embodying yourself, like this embodiment. Yeah. And really embracing and loving. And, they are confusing some people now with like, people don't even know who they are. And they're bringing all these identities that are confusing people when we've already kind of forgotten that along the way because of self-worth and just all these things. I mean, I could be one of those people right now that would be very confused had I not really done a lot of work on myself to be able to really tap into these beautiful qualities that we have. We have both divine feminine and masculine, and those are just qualities that we should embrace, all of us. It doesn't matter, beyond that, just be who you are, shine it so bright.
Heather and I have this rolling theory that we're working on, that all men are divine feminines and all women are divine masculines. And that's one of the biggest issues with the emotional turmoil we're in, is that men aren't accepting themselves because they don't even know who they are. Women aren't accepting themselves because they don't know who they
And
are.
they've taken on so much mass. I've taken on so many survival, protection, providing. Yeah.
Yep.
But I'm definitely tapping in with this integration, this work that I'm working on. I can't wait to post my recent interview on doing a lot of that, like ancestral. It's like primal stuff, getting the movement down, doing somatic breathing, doing a lot of these things to get inside and tap into those feminine creative
Yeah.
properties that are there,
And the key again is trust, because we woke up, we
Yeah.
made it through, we're here. Why can't someone else? Just because they're not doing it on our timeline, they're not doing
Right.
it on our time frame. So trust that humanity can do it for themselves, and just be there the best you can for them by first filling your cup. You cannot feed from an empty cup.
That's
And
true.
so we have to fill our own cups. We have to take care of ourselves, and we can only save ourselves. And
Yeah.
once we to heal our karma, once we heal our karma, what will be revealed is our dharma, which is the way is the way,
Mhm.
right,
The
Danielle?
way knows the way.
It knows the way, and
I
that's
love
our
that.
dharma, right? And that's our dharma. And
Yeah.
so understand that by going through your karma now, your purpose, your mission, and why you're here outside of just expanding and growing and experiencing will be revealed to you. And
Yeah.
if you're interested in this type of stuff, it's because you're most likely an angelic being remembering. So accept who you are, accept who you've been, and let go of the rest, because we're here for the long haul.
That's right. Dina, can you share anything before we wrap up today? We did go over a little bit, but I want to hear from you.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that we're all here to learn and grow, and um ourselves clear some of our karma, but also to help others learn. I always find that sometimes the most difficult people in my life are my biggest teachers.
Yes.
And, I try to approach it that way, as hard as that can be. But like I said, it's being positive, staying positive, and spreading that light. And if you do it, it's amazing what it can do. Like just going through the airport yesterday, I go through this smile on my face in a million people, and it's amazing the people that just come out and help you. Like it just shifts the energy, and that's what I try to do. And I think we all have to focus on that more. It's so easy to get down, and it takes more, but the energy it takes to stay in that hole versus raising up.
Yeah.
It's just something I've always done, and I learned it from my mother early on. So I think that's what we're all here to learn, and we just need to know that we're stronger together than as one. And hopefully we'll all come together in a big way and see what we can do together to kind of raise everyone's frequency. So that's kind of what I try to do. So
I love it. I love
It'll
it.
happen. It'll happen.
It's happening already.
Yeah.
And
It is.
what Dina
It's
just
totally-
highlighted really perfectly is what I say. The easiest way for me to explain the 3D to 5D transition. It's what is 3D to 5D? It's a perspective and a choice. Choosing to look at life from a higher lens and pull the lessons from everything instead of being the victim to everything.
Yeah.
That's
It's
all.
definitely from a different perspective. And that's, again, Dina, you weren't here earlier. I'm going to finish on this note. I said earlier, we came across how I was sharing this podcast on some channels on Telegram, and one person silenced me for my podcast being 5D all day. And they're trying to debunk what 5D, they don't believe in it or whatever. But I was telling this individual why I chose the name was the exact thing that we just said, from a different perspective, that we're no longer able to look at something from like a pinhole, but we can now see it from all angles at a higher vibration, a higher frequency, to come to these lower level conversations sometimes, like not the conversations, but the lifespan of humanity. We can look at it from a higher perspective, so we can bring up and rise our vibration.
Right. It's just a different perspective. It's open your eyes, be open to new ideas, new thoughts, new possibilities.
Open your eye.
That's the beautiful thing. And I think, it's easy to go to victimhood, but God, that's so depressing. Like, I used to say, like, when I hear people say, why me? Why me? I in my head, I'm always like, well, why not you? Like, why not me? Like, maybe we chose that. So I think it's very hard, but it's not my job. It's my job to love people through their journey, no matter where they are on it. I wasn't always as completely awakened as I feel like I am now. So I try to be patient because we're all here to help each other. So
Yeah.
I want to thank you guys. I do have to run, but I want to
Yeah.
thank you guys.
Thank you, Dina, for
much.
being here. I really appreciate your perspective, your voice. These conversations mean a lot to me. So thank you so much. And I know Spirit Calling, I appreciate them for hosting these beautiful people to share to humanity. You know,
It's an amazing community. It's an amazing community for sure. So we hope to see more people there because it's amazing and it's so supportive and loving. And
Well,
everyone's
you guys are
awesome.
selling me on it through this interview,
It's-
so definitely check it out.
Yes, Ace, we'd love for you to pop on. You know, you have 7 days to check it out too. So if you resonate, wonderful.
Is it for content creators too?
What's that?
Is it for content creators, for people
Yeah.
who create content?
Yeah, I think so. Dina, Ace will talk about it online too.
Okay. All right.
Awesome.
All right, we got to run too.
Well, thank you, lovely Ace and Lavender, for being my guest today as well. I really appreciate you both
Awesome
for
combo.
coming.
It was
You
so
know, I
much
love you.
fun.
We can chat. We could have our own little show one day. One day.
Every week we could have an episode.
Every week we
to be
could.
fire.
And
Yeah.
I've been getting your messages and emails and stuff through the tarot reading. Thank you so much, Lavender. I appreciate that. You're just keep shining. I love you both. And I hope you have a wonderful holiday. If I don't see
Yeah.
you.
Have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
You too.
Let's try to all have a call with the family soon.
Yeah.
That sounds good. All right. Thank you, everyone. Please check out spirit-calling.com to have amazing conversations like this and or just to check out just what the community is all about. So we'll talk to you later. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.